Now we talk about respiration. Respiration, we talk that there is cellular breakdown of food inside the body. So respiration on the basis of presence or absence of oxygen is basically of two types, that is aerobic and anaerobic. Right? When we talk about aerobic, aerobic means in presence of oxygen, means the food or the nutrient will break down in the presence of complete oxygen, that is aerobic. Anaerobic word stands for absence. So in absence of oxygen, when food is broken down in absence of oxygen or during some amount of oxygen, it will termed as anaerobic respiration. When we talk about aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, in aerobic respiration, it generally occurs in human body, right? And here, complete breakdown of food takes place. Complete breakdown. Complete breakdown of food takes place. Right? So it will result in production of large amount of energy. So food in presence of complete oxygen will break down into carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. Right? So during aerobic respiration, the food is completely broken down into and then result in release of energy. When we talk about anaerobic respiration is also termed as fermentation, right? Fermentation. During anaerobic respiration, there is incomplete breakdown of food, right? Means there is not enough supply of oxygen, right? So it mainly occurs in yeast and inside our muscles, right? When you must have heard that there is cramps, right? We say we have pain in our thighs, right? We have pain in our legs. That is due to the incomplete breakdown of oxygen. When we run very fast, right? When we do a lot of physical exercise, at that amount we feel pain inside our legs. This is due to the incomplete breakdown of food, right? So this and it will result in release of lactic acid, and which will lead to the cause of pain, right? So when we talk about this, incomplete breakdown basically occurring in yeast, right? Yeast is a fungus. You must know about this, right? When we talk about the reaction where incomplete breakdown is taking place, what are the byproducts? When complete oxygen breakdown is taking place, the byproduct are carbon dioxide and water and a large amount of ATP. When we talk about anaerobic, when we say that it is occurring inside yeast, right? In yeast, the glucose plus glucose will break down into ethyl alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus ATP. ATP is produced here as well, but the amount of ATP produced during anaerobic respiration is basically less. So that's why it occurs in yeast, and for alcohol production, we also use glucose. Only glucose is fermented and thus the alcohol is produced. Now, another example here is of muscles, right? In muscles, when there is not enough oxygen supply, the glucose undergo incomplete oxidation and will result in production of lactic acid, carbon dioxide, and less amount of energy. So this lactic acid is basically the major reason for muscle cramp or muscle pain. Right? In muscles, glucose, when there is not enough oxygen supply, is broken down into lactic acid plus carbon dioxide plus less amount of ATP. ATP is produced in both aerobic and anaerobic because here breaking down of nutrient or food is taking place. But in aerobic respiration, when there is enough supply of oxygen, complete breakdown will take place and large amount of ATP are produced as compared to anaerobic respiration. Whereas in anaerobic, the breakdown result in less number of ATP production. Right? I hope it's clear. Now moving forward, we'll talk about steps in respiration. When we talk about steps in respiration, we say there is inhalation and exhalation or intake of oxygen or removal of carbon dioxide. External respiration is basically occurring between the environment and our lungs, right? The air which is present outside our environment is rich in oxygen, right? So the external respiration is basically occurring between environment and lungs, right? The oxygen which is present outside the environment is intaken inside our body by the lungs. Now, internal respiration is exchange between blood vessel and lungs. Lungs is the site where oxygen is supplied from the outside environment. But from lungs, this oxygen must be reached to the various body tissues so that it results in complete breakdown of the nutrient. That's why only we'll get the amount of ATP from the food, right? So the blood is major component which is present in the circulatory system, right? So blood is the basically the transport medium. So blood will help in the transport of gas, that is basically the oxygen, right? Oxygen which we have taken from the environment is reached to the lungs, and from lungs it will reach to the various body tissues, and that is termed the internal respiration, means internal which is occurring inside our body. Now we talk about cellular respiration. Cellular respiration we have already discussed earlier. Now cellular respiration, it will occur inside cell and complete breakdown of food will take place. So these are basically the steps in respiration, right? External respiration, which we are taking oxygen from outside environment towards our lung. Internal respiration is occurring inside our body at the lung side, where the oxygen which we have inhaled is carried by the help of blood vessels to the various body tissues, right? So here exchange is occurring between blood vessel and the lungs. And then is the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration, it is occurring inside cell, means the oxygen which is required by the tissues is carried towards the tissue with the help of blood, which acting as a transport medium, and the oxygen is delivered towards the body tissues. So then the final step of respiration is a cellular respiration, which is occurring inside the cell, right? So it will deliver the oxygen to the cell. So therefore, complete breakdown of food will take place, and the release of energy will take place the inside our body. Right? I hope it's clear.